PMF, Rife, Scalar, and sound therapy devices are all marketed using one very seductive but also very ambiguous word: frequency. The word frequency tells you almost nothing about what a device actually does, what its intended effects are, and how it actually interacts with your body, your mind, your goals, the circumstances that you're looking to overcome or improve in your life. If you were to look at the wide range of frequency technologies on the market today and compare them using only testimonials, hertz based frequency numbers, or words like quantum, you would be looking at a wide range of systems that completely are unrelated from one another, of completely different levels of efficacy and impact, and looking at them as if they were all under one umbrella and the same thing. What I want to help you do in today's video is to break down and simplify the world of frequency technology, the marketing, the jargon, and to come out with absolute clarity. So, I want to specifically make sure that we cover number one, which claims that companies make deserve your additional scrutiny. Number two is what are the actual systems and devices and the mechanisms by which they impact you? And number three is the 5 questions that I would be asking before spending a single dollar on any device. I especially want you to stick around until we cover that third and final point because it will give you a map, a clear way to discern and filter out whether someone is genuinely wanting to educate and support you in your goals or whether you're just being sold to. So let's dive in to the presentation next, and I will take you through step by step in a way to really help you to have a way of looking at this entire field and not be fooled or deceived by extraordinary claims, amazing testimonials, or miracles that do occur in this field, but are not necessarily representative of what you will experience with any specific device. But before we dive into that, I just want to take a quick moment to introduce myself. My name is Boris Kerjner, and the reason I want to speak to you about all of this today is because I've spent almost 20 years on this journey of really discerning what is health, what is evolution, what is this expansion of consciousness of becoming our fullest, greatest self. So let's dive into today's journey, and I will want to help you to fully understand the world of frequency technology as it pertains to choosing a system to enhance your life and your well being. So let's jump in right here and allow ourselves to really discern between the word salad of all of the different jargon in the industry, the marketing terms, the quasi spiritual slash energetic slash futuristic applications of this technology. So let's dive in right here. This is where we left off in the introduction. This entire word salad of things like biofield and harmonic wellness and boosting and healing and quantum jumping. What is this all about? A lot of this is simply marketing jargon. A lot of this is simply branding. It is true that frequency technology is meant to impact us at the level of energy, at the quantum level of possibility, and also at the cellular level of our cellular and mitochondrial health. But the trap of this shared vocabulary, where words from quantum physics are mixed with medical jargon, are mixed with spiritual jargon, creates impressive sounding presentations. But similar language does not mean similar technology. And so, at its core, what is frequency? Frequency describes how often something repeats. For example, 100 hertz. It means that there are 100 oscillations, let's say per second in this case. Well, what does it not tell us? It doesn't tell us what is oscillating. How much energy is actually involved? Is it something very microdose that may make next to no impact and no felt sense of experience? Or is it a megadose, which some devices are capable of delivering such doses of, let's say, pulse electromagnetic energy that your whole body is jumping and moving as a result of the pulses? Another one, of course, is how is the signal delivered? Is it delivered as sound? Is it delivered as pulsed electromagnetic fields or microcurrent or light? There are so many possibilities in the field of frequency technology for how a frequency may be introduced to your body or to your environment. And lastly, of course, has the outcome been demonstrated? Or is it just simply some theoretical um, I don't know, application where we say, oh, I'm going to put something together. And based on what this guy did in the 1930s and based on what Albert Einstein said in this book, this should work, right? Wrong. Don't spend your money on something that isn't proven and something as well that doesn't give you the opportunity to test drive it in your own life. So, in summary, a number expressed in hertz is a measurement. It's not an automatic proof of a wellness effect. So when clients say to me, oh, this device can go to 100,000 megahertz and it's so powerful. Is it powerful? Or is it something that just can oscillate very fast but make next to no effect on the actual protoplasm that you are made of because the power there is so small that, well, it's like standing next to a light bulb. Yes, there's some kind of effect, but it might not be the effect you're looking for. There are four mechanisms that I want to cover here. Number one being sound. Sound is essentially mechanical vibration traveling through a medium. This could be vibroacoustic in a way that it impacts your body and gives you a felt sense of being immersed in the frequency. This could be just sound traveling through the air via headphones or speakers. What we want to see on sound therapy devices is what is the actual sound source? What is the level of its integrity? So it's really important that we begin to really scrutinize some of these claims and see what is actually being promised and delivered. Another point to cover is what is the volume or intensity or of the output capacity that this device is capable of? Is it something that you can deeply feel and gives you an immersive sense of the frequency or the sound? Or is it something very subtle and almost subliminal that they're offering? Also, of course, duration and delivery method. What is an effective dose? What is a the capacity of the system to produce multiple sessions in a row versus one session at a time? And of course, what is the evidence for the specific claims of outcome that are being made by that device? This is applicable right across the board for all types of systems. So, sound is a measurable mechanism, but the meaning and outcomes attributed to a specific frequency being delivered through a sound based device require special and separate evaluation. Next, we have pulsed electromagnetic fields. These are some of the most universal methods of transmission because they often don't require contact. They allow for a wide range of accurately reproduced frequencies. And at the same time, they also have many positive effects on the body, on our cellular systems in and of themselves, regardless of the specific frequency of oscillation. So, pulsed electromagnetic fields, two devices described as PMF may differ completely. They may be literally different worlds in terms of their exposure. And also, at the same time, don't assume that greater output capacity automatically means a better or more appropriate experience of health or well being. We want to consider all of these parameters. What is the strength of the field? What are the actual frequencies that are being offered, and are they accurate? What is the waveform of those frequencies, and is it relevant to our application? What's the pulse duration, and what is the actual design of the coils? Is it creating a grid work, which is a very mechanistic and humanly in, invented ways of which the energy might move? Or is it following the natural flow of nature? in the same way that um, electromagnetic fields flow around apples or trees or planets. Yeah. So the verification standard here is this: research about one particular device or setting should not be automatically treated as proof for every PMF product on the market. Just because something worked in a particular device that had a specific kind of coil, a specific strength, a specific frequency that was used at a specific waveform, does not mean that every PMF device is going to have that same outcome as the one that's been mentioned in the studies. What's next? Next, we can look at the Rife-associated frequency systems. So when someone says, oh, this is a Rife therapy system, well, that could also mean just about anything. The name Rife is connected to a historical set of ideas about frequencies and biological systems. But with that being said, contemporary products that use the name Rife do not all generate or deliver signals in the same way. There could be Rife based systems that implement light, or plasma tubes, or pulsed electromagnetic fields, or microcurrents. All of these may be completely different methods which are appropriate for completely different concerns and applications, and not necessarily all the same or all within the same category, even. So, the rule that I want you to consider is that when you hear a term like it's a Rife machine, this is not a sufficient technical explanation. This historical reference or interest is not the same as the modern validation of the device that's in front of you. So we come again to the same thing. We want to look at what is this specific thing that's being offered? Does it give me a method of application that actually meets the desired outcome that I'm looking to create? And do I have the opportunity to test drive this system to actually prove its capacity in my own life? These are very important questions to consider. And lastly, mechanism four is very popular these days. These are the scalar marketed products. Now, when you ask companies about, well, what is scalar? How is it measured? What can it do? Nonetheless, please understand that under the veil of scalar could be nothing, could be placebo. So while scalar has legitimate meaning within mathematics and physics, it is used very inconsistently in wellness marketing. So whenever a company is offering you a scalar system, I wouldn't advise that you begin to argue with them about whether scalar is real or not, but begin with a very clear question, something like, what measurable physical output does your device produce? What can actually be measured? If this question cannot be answered, then you're likely dealing with something that is more placebo or faith or belief based. Not to say that these things don't work, they do work, but they're not necessarily the credit that should be given to the device. The credit should be given to your own power, the power of your mind and body and consciousness to transform, using the device essentially as an excuse or as a placebo to enact that power. So, whenever you're looking at scalar devices, you should say, well, what is actually generated by the device? How can it be detected or measured? And what instrument actually measures it? These questions should be answered with a responsible explanation. And the explanations should become more specific as you ask questions, not more mystical. This is another really important way for you to filter out the systems and the offerings on the market that are in integrity and truly there to serve your outcome versus ones that are there to see if they can get your money and ride on the hype of the popularity that these systems and technologies are gaining now. The best device is not the one with the most extraordinary story. The best device is the one that actually works and the one that you can understand and relate to and use clearly and simply. So, before we wrap up, I want to take you through the actual experience of evaluating a claim. Whenever you see a claim being made about a technology, you want to ask, where does this claim actually live? Is this what reliable research actually supports, which is an objective metric of a particular claim? Or is it a subjective experience in the form of a testimonial or a belief. Confusion begins when these four categories, belief, experience, evidence, as well as the unknown, what really hasn't been established yet. And there's a lot that is emerging in the world of frequency and healing that is not conventional, not known, not traditional, but it is something that is revealing to us a greater, newer possibility. We don't want to discount that and throw that away just because we haven't heard of it before or because science hasn't heard of it before. That part is a really important caveat. But when these four categories are presented as though they are the same form of knowledge, when we look at experience, evidence, belief, and the unknown as if it should automatically imply that these are universally applicable outcomes and claims and results, this is where we run into disappointment and um, essentially create an experience for ourselves of having something that we don't really want. Let's take a look at something like this. So let's say you see a claim like, this device cured my chronic fatigue. Is it true and valid? Absolutely, it could be true and valid as an experience. But is it a scientific medical fact? Not necessarily. A testimonial can be a very positive personal experience that is incredibly meaningful and true for that individual. However, a testimonial belongs under the category of experience and shouldn't be automatically placed under the category of scientific evidence. So, what I want to share with you next are the 5 questions that I want you to use as an audit to decide whether any device from any company for any application is actually suitable and on point for you. So, let's look here. This is the pre purchase checklist. Number 1, the mechanism. What does this device physically produce? What is it actually doing? So, here you want to ask for measurable output in plain language. Number 2, let's talk about the evidence. Does the research apply to this exact device? Because related research is not necessarily product specific evidence. Just because PEMF has been used for recovery from Alzheimer's and dementia and has a lot of positive studies behind it, what about this specific device? Is it congruent and consistent in its output, in its waveform, in its hertz range, or other forms of frequency application? Because it's not just about hertz. Number 3, safety. What are the contraindications? Trustworthy companies willingly discuss who should use a device and who shouldn't use a device, who should seek additional consultation from the medical practitioner, and for whom it's not a big deal at all to begin engaging with this technology. Number 4, really important, the support. What training, warranty, and return protection are included? The quality of guidance matters just as much as the hardware. In other words, does the company allow you to actually engage with and use the device and discover it in your own life without being out for thousands of dollars, but instead being able to really use it and see, is the proof in the pudding? And if not, is the company integrity enough to be able to take that device back and give you a full refund on it? And of course, do you have somebody in your corner to actually help you to use it? Many of these devices have a lot of complexity in it. I get to talk to clients all the time who are like, oh, I have this device, like this Spooky 2, for example. Amazing device. Does it work? It worked for so many people and has such wonderful impact. Is it complicated to use? Very much so. And many times, as I get to speak to clients, they're like, oh, yeah, I bought it years ago, but I don't use it. That part is so important. What is the friction of you actually getting started into a session or even getting started with the device? If the friction is large, you may never actually engage with it, even though it's good for you. Yeah. And lastly, the sales environment. Am I being educated or am I being pressured? Here's the litmus test that I want you to apply. When you are receiving education and information to help you to make an informed decision, education makes distinctions, it acknowledges uncertainty, and it absolutely welcomes questions. On the other side, pressure relies on urgency. Oh, we're going to run out of Supply, the sale is going to end. You're not going to be able to get it again. Or on fear or extraordinary promises or the suggestion that doubt represents your own personal failure. So use this litmus test to help yourself see whether you are in an environment that already kind of sets off these alarms and red flags, or whether you are truly with someone who is expressing genuine care and someone that you can really listen to and trust that they're providing you the information to make your own best discernment. So I hope that this has been really helpful for you, that we can really kind of separate the hype and the marketing language from true, meaningful, measurable application of frequency technology. If you enjoyed this, please leave in the comments below what you would like me to dive deeper into. Could be one of the topics we opened up here: PMF, scalar, Rife, right? Sound therapy systems. Or it could be something that is unique and personal to you. Leave your requests down in the comments. I'd love to engage with you and I'd love to support you in the next video. Take great care and bye bye for now.